Hey, I am Susan Ragsdale from Right Creations Group, and this is.
Jonna Laidlaw with Oasis Center.
We are two facilitators, and so today we want to talk about what we're learning, little tips and tricks to make training virtually a little more exciting, because we both know that when you're doing training in a group of people, you want to do movement, you want to vary the methods. And so how does that all translate to online, and what are things we're learning? So why don't you start? You just did a training last week. So
I did.
what are some of the things you figured out?
So one of the things that we learned was to limit time on the computer or focused on training to about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So we do what's called an eyeball break, and we tell people to shut down their video, shut down their audio. We encourage, like, run around your house, do jumping jacks, go get a drink of water, whatever you need to do to refresh a little bit. But we have just found that sitting for that length of time, very focused on the screen, your eyeballs need breaks and your body needs breaks. You just need to move and do something different. And that helps us as trainers as well as the folks who are being trained.
So the translation of, instead of an activity, though I still try to do movement online, and I think you do too,
Right.
to make sure movement is still happening, you're giving them the opportunity and putting on them their responsibility to. Now you also do all day trainings as well, right? So this 45-minute eyeball break, you stagger throughout the day?
Yeah, what we're doing is about a 4-hour training.
Okay.
So we're not going all day. We've broken ours down to a 4-hour training, and then we're doing 2 follow-up trainings, 2 hours each time. I feel like that's about the length that people can go in a Zoom setting.
Well, and it's actually
a lot of information. It's really, it's a struggle to sit here all day on the computer.
Well, you're reminding me, it's actually true as well if you were just in the office doing work, that you need to stretch and move and change things up. I had heard 45 minutes to 60 minutes. There was an article about athletes expending energy in recovery. And so, professional athletes and what they do to sustain themselves, like, this was the lesson we could take away. You got to move, you got to change it up. So you're doing that. All right, so that's tip number 1. Eyeball breaks, move, get away from computer, get that energy going.
Yeah.
Tip
and
number
then
2.
The other one was that I actually had someone else from my agency call the other day, and she was like, so I've heard some people were kind of dozing off during the training on Zoom. What can I do? And I just talked to her about making sure it's active. The other thing we do for our trainings is we limit it to about 10 people, because we found that's how many we can really connect to on the screen, and we can see everybody. We ask them to really come have a quiet space for them to really focus for 4 hours. We ask for them to be one on a computer.
Meaning one person, one face per computer.
One person per computer. And some of them need to use phones. They don't have access to the computer. So we ask them to set their phone up in front of them on something so that it's facing their face, and make sure that their audio and video works. Make sure they have backup, plug-in, charger, whatever they need for their system. So we do a lot of groundwork beforehand, making sure that they're prepped and ready. We try to check in with them individually and make sure that they have Zoom downloaded, that they're ready to go.
So let me clarify that for others who are watching, are still trying to figure out, how do we make this work? And I know some people are like trying to build in time during the training on the front end to hit all of that stuff, but you're reaching out like, let's just hypothetically, a week before the training, and are you testing it with each individual so that they're comfortable, or are you just saying, get on, I'm here, let me know if you have questions?
We're individually testing with each person.
Okay.
Because we have 4 trainers, and so we all have people from across the state that are coming to this training. And so each of us takes our people. So it might be 2 or 3 people that you're checking in with to make sure that they have everything they need. They're up and going. The other thing that I started doing was I send out a packet to each person. So we have to have their name and an address to send information to. And we put the book that we do our training from, but we also include, like, we do service learning. So I actually do a piece about a service learning. And so I send everything they need to do that. So they get some fiddle toys, that I throw in some snacks.
So you treat it like face-to-face training. You provide all the goodies that's nice. That's a nice care package to get in the mail.
So they get that little packet beforehand. I go over that right at the beginning of training. Mm-hmm. Here's what you got in your packet. Here's when you're going to need it, that kind of thing.
All right, eyeball break, making sure everybody's comfortable stuff. You started off by saying making it interactive so no one's snoozing. So do you have a few favorite techniques for interactive?
So it was really about, we do, I think it helps it to be more interactive just because we set it up only 10 people. Right. They're engaged, they're right there. That makes it more difficult to turn off your video or take a snooze or whatever. But I'm trying to think of activities that we actually do.
You mentioned Simon Says the other day.
So with the whole Zoom, we kind of do Simon Says, do a thumbs up. Simon Says, so that learns all their Zoom ways of
the functions
doing things. Yeah, all the functions of the Zoom. And so that kind of helps them with that. But you could do that with other things too. You could have other topics and you could do a Simon Says. Or you could just do an energizer with it. Simon says, stand up. Simon says, sit down. Sit down. And they're all like, so you could use that for a lot of
I could even see reporting out. Simon says the last person to stand up is going to be the reporter for the group.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you can think of that you've learned? I mean, I love what I'm hearing. Prep them on the front end, get them comfortable with it. You can use a game to get comfortable with the features. The boundaries of quiet space and setting the thing up. I mean, how many have we seen where we're seeing ceiling shots or floor shots, you know, but making sure you're here and ready and professional and you're going to learn. Movement.
I think a lot of folks initially were even carrying their phones. They were at home, so they were walking around the house and you'd get this jiggling. So yeah, that's an important piece.
And I've had some calls. The chair I'm sitting in could rock if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And man, I've gotten dizzy watching some people just rock on the call. Didn't you have something about teach backs as well? Were you doing a method on teach backs?
We have not started that yet. We haven't quite figured out how to do that. Okay. Because we're in residential treatment facilities, so for confidentiality.
Right.
We can't just say, hey, videotape so that we can see what you're doing. So we're working on that right now. But that's the final piece of our training. And so we've gotten the first 3 parts of the training actual online setup, but we haven't started on that yet.
Well, then I'll throw in a couple suggestions I've heard from folks of like using GIFs. Am I saying that right? Is it GIFs or GIFs? I always forget. GIFs. Using the GIFs or emojis or finding videos like in one of my trainings, positive youth development. When you hear those words, what does it mean to you? Finding images, doing words, and then creating like collages or boards with images and words might be one way. Short video clips to represent what they're doing, since you can't use, you don't want to do actual participants in your case. So those might be some things, or a short video of themselves saying, here's how I would teach this. So we're going to do this exercise on such and such. Here's how I would facilitate it, and letting others comment and give feedback on their directions if they were clear, like if they're leading a game. So
Mm-hmm.
those are a few things I've been looking at.
Great. I'll keep that in mind as I do my planning.
All right, well, thank you, Jonna. We just wanted to share what we're learning as we're facilitating our teams, trying to make them smarter, equipped, and able to function well in virtual land. Subscribe to this channel, hit the little bell so that you'll be notified when there's more tips, more strategies coming your way that you won't miss out on, and share with others so we can help each other along the path. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.